Big Boys Neighborhood.
Big boy.
50 Cent up in here, ladies and gentlemen. It is going down. Let me ask you this, man. Now, we know that you've been in the studio, that there's always been a relationship with you and Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
We just saw a quick pic of Dr. Dre, Snoop, and Game in the studio working on Detox.
Yeah.
Will we ever see Game and 50 Cent work together again?
I doubt that. Strongly. I didn't do anything. I never really understood because I didn't know what the motivation was for the Game issue. Initially it was like just a decision on his part. I felt like because I went over it in my head a million times on.
Does it feel like with Game, watching your behind the music also and saying you recorded these records,
right.
You did the vocal, you said no, put this on there, like gave them like heaters.
Yeah.
Is it more betrayal than anything? Like,
well, yeah, but I didn't have a long period of time around Game. We worked for about 5 days.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? And Dre spent a year in the studio with Game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he had a chance to be around him to kind of gauge what his character was.
Right.
And when he was.
When did you realize what his character was?
After his record was out. You see what I'm saying? Right after the record was out, it was like, I'm hot. Because of how many records it sold at that point. And then
were there times when you guys were on the road or you seen something when he was with G Unit that you was like, oh man?
Never.
Never.
There was never any, like he called me actually. Because he had said something about Jay-Z. He said he could suck his, and Memphis Bleak and Beanie Siegel. He did it overseas and it came back right away. And he had called me and I was like, yo, let me talk to him, because it was so early that Jay could have kind of put his lights out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, your record just came out last week. Why'd you say that? You know what I'm saying? It was really his first performance, like. And he went off and he said these things, and then I was busy patching that. I was putting Band-Aids over stab wounds in that situation, and then he came back, and his way of patching it up was, I don't have a problem with Jay-Z or Fat Joe or anybody. Like he said, I have a problem with anybody instead of the people that he directly had those issues with.
Right.
And it was like, I'm busy patching this thing up that you just did, and you come back and you say you don't have a problem even with the people that I have issues with.
Right. So was that like strike 1 and 2, or was strike?
It was interesting, like, cause he was saying, cause they were talking to him discussing what I had put out on Piggy Bank, and he was like, "Yo, I ain't got nothing to do with that," and this and that, and I'm like, I just gave you your first 3 singles.
Let me ask you this: why you didn't put the energy into Game that we seen 50 put energy into other people? Why you didn't discuss or go deeper into a background or anything like how you would do a Rick Ross, Ja Rule, whatever it may be?
It didn't really. His background was in front of me. Like you saw his brother have issues with him in front of everybody. And then his mom and all of them. His was in the open, so there was no real reason for me to go, like, outside. Like Rick Ross, you'll see Rick Ross out there as if he was a correctional officer. When I went into his background, this guy's rapping like he's a drug dealer when he was a correctional officer. Game background, when you went into that, you found he was a stripper. Like, he used to work at his mom's, strip joint. So, I mean, it was interesting things that I seen from both of them. Like, it didn't match what the content was. And then I seen the transformation myself, because I seen when it was like a Dennis Rodman son on his chest, and then he tattooed NWA over it, and then Eazy-E tattoos, and then things started to change, right before the launch of the actual album. He kind of created what you know as Game today. And it was from an entertainment perspective, I was like, it's gonna work.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I think we got something here.
Yeah, I mean, just because you look at it and you say from the West Coast, we haven't had an artist like that has the same type of energy or the support that Snoop had. Like, he had the largest debut in hip hop album before Get Rich or Die Trying, and a huge consistency, a huge body of work that people could look at and go, wow, like, was Snoop on album 11?
Right.
That's an accomplishment, man, because there's a cloud, there's a shadow of doubt cast over every artist in between each project that you got to work through.
And it's even worse now, huh?
Yeah.
We got 50 Cent up in here, beautiful day in the neighborhood, Big Boys
Big
neighborhood.
boy.